Hi, everyone. I'm Lisa D'Amico, curator of Shine the Light, virtual exhibit being hosted by Inside Small, and I have the fantastic pleasure of speaking with Dani Elaine today about her piece in the exhibit called Peach Aglow. So nice to meet you. So nice to speak with you.
Great.
So Peach Aglow, I have to tell you, when I was going through the applications and I was looking at it with the committee, when yours came up, it struck me from two sides, because in one way it's almost a commercial feeling image of a peach, like almost like a retro label that you would see. But then when I started looking at it a little bit longer, it has a very striking sensuality to it. It's got
That's what I've been told.
It does. It has a very strong influence of the human body. What was your intention when you painted it?
To be very honest, it was one of my first maybe 10 paintings. Well, since my youth, or whatever, because I had been in a different kind of art. So it was one of my first 10, and it was the only one that was that small. Yeah, I don't really work. I mean, when I started painting, the smallest I usually would do is 11 by 14, because I like to do a figure and then a big empty background kind of thing. That's my thing. Or that's just what I was studying. So that was one of my first and my only small one. And I thought it would really fit in this exhibit because it was about lighting. And to answer your question, I didn't really purposefully make it sensual, but all my art over the years has been, I taught myself how to paint. Yeah, I just taught myself. I was supposed to be an interpreter at the UN. I got all these degrees, but then I just thought, I just found this fabric paint and I just started painting. So basically, my approach is always just to look at an object and then to try to make it emotional.
You achieved that. You absolutely did. In a very kind of like, not common, but familiar way. It's a very familiar imagery, but you did it in a way that, like I said to you, I looked at it at first, and then very quickly it took me to another place. And I know for a fact it did that for other people, because other artists have commented to me about it. And yeah,
interesting.
Isn't that nice when people like
that's quite a compliment.
When your work generates a conversation and gets people thinking, I mean, that's that's what art's about. So yours
that's quite a compliment. Thank you.
So
I appreciate that.
Before we started recording this interview, Dani Elaine was telling me that she is a transplant. So welcome to New York.
Thank God.
To give everyone listening a little background on you and your career, because you kind of came into this, at least into painting, relatively, I'd say recently.
Yes.
Okay.
Not so much art. I've been in art my whole life. I taught myself. It's always been like my best friend. Okay. It's art, but actually painting, and because I taught myself painting and sketching, those skills can only be learned by practice. And as a young kid, I came from a really big family in California, in Los Angeles. I think our family was, well, although my uncles and grandparents and everything were in the entertainment business, but I think we were the only big Irish family kids that wanted nothing to do with the business. We didn't want to be actors, but we loved to be in the audience, loved to go to theater. And the thing about art was, we used to put on plays around the neighborhood, and we used to just do things. And in school, I used to kind of love to illustrate something, but I always thought I was going to be a writer. So the interesting segue is, I think my art tells stories. I think it's like writing, because I studied writing for so many years, not creative writing, but writing. And then I used it in my business, to promote myself. But I think people also tell me, like you told me a little bit with great incision, that even this peach tells a story, makes you think of something. You know, did you see this in your grandmother's house, or what is this? You know, like what I like to leave an empty background and not clutter it, so that you can look at the focus on the, you know, the object and just kind of make a story of it.
You really achieved that. And for anyone
Thank you.
listening, please visit InsideSmall.com, see Dani Elaine's work. It will create a beautiful, interesting, perplexing narrative for you. It did it for me, and I know it did it for many other people. And we also know that artists are so multi-layered and faceted, and you definitely are. So what I will do is
sometimes they say crazy, but you put it in very nice words.
That's a compliment in my book. That is, that just tells me that you're thinking outside the box all the time.
Oh, definitely.
Yes.
Could I say one thing about the lighting about that piece?
Please.
This piece, being that it was the only thing I had that was under 8 by 10, and then I looked at it, and the shine the light was the, you know, was a theme, and I realized that in experimenting, I had done something all teachers, professors tell you not to do. Our professors, I had mixed oil painting with acrylic.
Ooh.
Because I wanted the peach to glow, and I couldn't achieve that only with oil paints, and I couldn't achieve it only with acrylic. So I think that when you say it, you get a second hit with it. Yes. I think you're like, wow, that's really lit up. How did that happen? And I don't really know, but.
And that light, the way you use light on the peach, like I said before, it gives it a curvaceousness that is reminiscent of the human form. So I love it. And
that's out of, you know, my subconscious.
Good.
That didn't even occur to me. I encourage
everybody listening to follow Dani Elaine, see her work in Inside Small, but also follow her directly. You will go on a path that will really be all-encompassing, and I just love it. I love your work, and we will also be posting more about the other things that you do, so people can see all the different layers that make you so special.
Thank you. I'm really, really, really impressed. This is a very impressed. I mean, just being in New York 3 years, that the arts are appreciated, but this is a very incisive, really great. This Inside Small is fantastic. And I love my locals, hearing their stories. Yes. It's great.
The stories are fascinating, and you're fascinating. So
thank you.
Thank you so much for spending some time with me and everyone listening.
Okay. Thank you very much, Lisa.